Here's some video that I took during our thunderstorm today. It was a tornado warning for Toronto. That's pretty unusual, especially for this neighborhood, the neighborhood I live in, the Richmond Hill, Markham, sort of Thornhill area. It's very unusual to get a tornado warning for inside the city limits. We usually have them north of the city. But we did have a severe thunderstorm watch and tornado warning. And here I am just taking some video of this storm. Pretty good lightning and thunder happening. Typical storm like we get in the Toronto area. So far nothing spectacular. Lots of rain. We're used to some pretty wild storms here. We get some pretty good wind, but this particular day, not a lot of wind here. So it was kind of hard to think that the wind would get up enough to cause a tornado, but it does sometimes do that outside the city limits. You can see the rain is starting to accumulate on the roadway. The drains system's just not keeping up with the amount of rainfall that we have. But again, not a whole lot of wind. Visibility is starting to drop and it's pretty dark and gray. But that's typical, of course, for a thunderstorm. Lots of lightning, lots of thunder. Kind of like storms like that.
Our images. Now the tornado warnings are in effect for Toronto, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, Halton Hills, Milton, Mississauga, Brampton, also Caledon. To the east of us, Pickering, Oshawa, Southern Durham region. Back west, we've got Stratford, Mitchell, Perth County, Kitchener, Cambridge, and Waterloo. People in those areas should take immediate precautions.
So they're telling people in the affected area to basically go into shelter or take cover, take precautions because of the tornado. And I'm standing on my balcony on the 6th floor with my video camera. Well, that's a dedicated vlogger for you, I guess. You can see the accumulation is greater now of water on the roadway. The rain is actually quite a bit heavier. Visibility is much more reduced than it was earlier. Can't even see those apartment buildings anymore because of the way the weather has socked in. Still some good lightning and some pretty good thunder coming along with it. I love thunderstorms. They're really powerful, really interesting. And this was a pretty good example of one. Picking up a little bit more, and now we're getting hail. We've got pellet-sized hail coming down, pounding on me while I'm standing on the balcony. I didn't really have a whole lot of cover there, especially with the wind blowing the rain into the balcony. So I got pretty soaked, but it was worth it because I think this footage is interesting to have on record. Bad visibility, hail, and the water just not going anywhere. It's starting to flood the roadway, as you can see.
As a matter of fact, if you're traveling the 401, we won't be seeing this, but if you have loved ones traveling the 401 normally this time of the day, I imagine they have pulled over. Things are at a standstill. Once again, this is the band that we're dealing with right now, heading towards Oshawa. It's probably about 17 kilometers an hour. The second band is right here, Brampton through Richmond Hill, and that's why we're expecting these losses and warnings to continue throughout the evening hours. Once again, the worst area right now seems to be from Markham to Whitby, heading towards Oshawa. This whole system is moving in this direction. Now, we have had unconfirmed reports earlier today. Conestoga, or OPT, have not confirmed the tornado touchdown Chris, but they are saying that a house was destroyed.
Thanks, Tom. And joining us now on the phone, freelance cameraman Chris Williams, who is in Brampton at the moment. Chris?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi. So
Well,
what's going on out there?
Well, about 45 minutes to an hour ago, the north part of Brampton was hit with an extremely severe cell of storm to the point that portions of Sandalwood Parkway, which is a fairly major road in North Brampton, was submerged in, I would say, approximately 2 feet of water, stranding numerous cars, making the road completely impassable.
Right, we're looking at video right now, and I'm not exactly sure where this is. Oh, I think this is in the East End, Tom, if I'm correct. And this is, right, and this...
Good for Chris for connecting up with CTV News and sending them his footage, but unfortunately Chris is in the west end of the city and they're saying this footage is from the east end, so I can't see how that would be his footage. Either that or they're not giving him credit for that footage, so that's too bad that opportunity got messed up for him.
We're also looking at flooding situations.
How much longer will this last?
First, I figure probably another hour and 15 minutes, and this system will be out of the GTA, but we'll be heading towards Oshawa, eventually into Peterborough. And you know what happened there earlier this year, or last year, I should say, with the flooding situation. So we will monitor the situation. We're going to keep an eye on our CTV live color radar, and of course, we're going to have all the latest throughout the afternoon, and of course, the latest updates coming up tonight at 6.
So back to the storm, you can see the wind action there in that tree. And again, reduced visibility still. It's getting pretty dark. You can see some lights there. But certainly can't see beyond the other side of the street at all. And you can see how heavy that rain is. Still coming down in just sheets of rain. Still lots of lightning and thunder and a huge curtain of rain. There the sidewalk is flooded as well. And you can see that the drain is just not keeping up with taking the rain away from the roadway. And yet, an hour later, we have sunshine. It's beautiful. Everything's been washed clean. Everything's still kind of wet and bedraggled, but the drains have caught up with the water. The roads are now pretty clear. There had actually been a flood in our parking garage, so that there was about an accumulation of about 1.5 feet of water there, which was not too bad for me in my SUV, but for the people with the smaller cars and the lower cars, that was not too good. And there we have those other apartment buildings back. We can see them now. And it just turned into a beautiful afternoon.